What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another The Rooster Reacts. If you want to be in the Twitch chat, the link is down below in the description. If you want to support the channel, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you don't do that, we appreciate your viewership. If you do, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when the videos drop, man. Today, I thought we'd throw a little curveball. We're going to do a theme park video. Today we got Chime Along Spaceship review, $1.1 billion indoor theme park. Like, I'm assuming this is in the Middle East somewhere, like Bali or something. Let's check out what this is. Let's check out what this is, man.
The world's largest indoor theme park, a 2,000-foot-long spaceship packed full of rides, animal exhibits, live entertainment, animatronics, and some of the best theming you have ever seen. At a cost of a whopping $1.1 billion, Chimlong Spaceship broke 7 Guinness World Records upon opening, including
7?
World's largest indoor theme park, world's largest aquarium tank, world's largest living coral reef exhibit, the world's largest indoor artificial wave, the world's largest capacity motion simulator, and the world's largest curved projection screen. Impressive on paper and even more impressive in real life. At 3.9 million square feet, Chimlong Spaceship beat out the previous record holder for world's largest theme park, Warner Brothers World Abu Dhabi, by over 1 million square feet. And that park is pretty freaking big. I had the opportunity to visit Spaceship shortly after it opened, and I knew very little going in. But let me tell you, I was blown away by the level of detail. Immersion like I had never seen before, and in this video, I'll be covering the park in detail, telling you everything you need to know, walking through the must-do attractions in themed areas, so you have an idea what to expect should you choose to go. Now, to get to Chimlong Spaceship, you're first going to need to travel to Zhuhai, China, about 10 minutes past the Macau border. Macau is the most densely populated place on Earth, so opening a new park so close was sure to be a smash hit.
They got Vegas in China, bro? Look at that building. Who thought of that concept? That looks like something out of damn Star Wars.
About 10 minutes past the Macau border. Macau is the most densely populated place on Earth, so opening a new park so close was sure to be a smash hit. Spaceship soft opened towards the end of 2023, and in its first full opening year, 2024, it welcomed 4.6 million guests.
Holy
crap. That put it at the number 25 spot for most visited theme parks in the entire world. And what's even more impressive is this is the second gate for an already pre-existing park at the Chimlong Resort. I'm talking about Chimlong Ocean Kingdom, which opened in 2014 as the second Chimlong park after their first initial park in Guangzhou was so successful. Ocean Kingdom sits as the 6th most popular theme park in the world, and it only took them 1 year of operation before they started discussing how could they expand their capacity. And after kicking around ideas with designers Legacy Entertainment out of Burbank, they settled on an indoor park themed around a spaceship. It's the perfect complement to Ocean Kingdom. While both feature marine animals, the environments and ride selections are completely different. So if you've experienced one, you haven't experienced the other. The region of Zhuhai is also known for its intense heat, humidity, rain, and even typhoons. So an indoor theme park was a no-brainer. It's just a short walk from Ocean Kingdom. You can easily see one park from the other, and it only adds to the resort feel. We stayed at the Hongshan Bay Hotel, which is stunning, by the way, looking out over the South China Sea. And the hotel had its own dedicated walking path to the entrance of Spaceship. Believe it or not, however, that is not the closest hotel to the park, as they literally have their own space-themed hotel attached to the back. It is massive. The initial view you get upon first walking up to the park is wildly impressive. They have themed this thing the entire way around. It looks like it could start up its engines and fly away at any moment. Straight out of a sci-fi film, especially at night. The color-changing lights are incredible. It doesn't even look real. You'd think it was AI or something. The only major downside is that you can really only see the ship from the front entrance, or from the top of one of the rides at Ocean Kingdom, or from your hotel, which not everyone can access. This iconic view is not a normal vantage point. That's a drone. And it's kind of unfortunate because that's easily the most spectacular view of the property.
It's
But this
incredible.
front entrance plaza is beautiful. I love all the palm trees all around, a nice fountain in the center with the cute central characters from the park. And then, of course, you have the main turnstiles. You scan your ticket outside so that once you enter the ship, you're in, you're good to go. A one-day admission to Chimlong Spaceship will run you about
No
45 US
way.
dollars. We got all of our theme park tickets in China on Trip.
Yo, there's no way that's the biggest theme park in the world, and it costs you $45, bro. It's like 180 to go to both parks at Disneyland.
Trip.com, which is absolutely the best app to use for all of your attractions, trains, and
You went too
hotels
fast.
in the
You went too
country.
fast. Hold on.
These
Hold
are
on.
absolutely the
How
best.
much is the
We
annual
got
pass?
all of our theme park tickets in China on Trip.com, which is absolutely
One-day ticket, 2 adults, 1 child, $95. So basically, one of the adults gets in for free.
the
Annual pass for 2 attractions, both parks, $264. Hotel buffet, $23. 2 days at the park is $99. This is actually really good value.
app to use for all of your attractions, trains, and hotels in the country. These Chinese parks don't have normal websites like what we Westerners are used to, so that's the best
But
place
they
to
have
get all of your
Matterhorn.
information. It's also worth noting that they also sell combo tickets that you can get one day at Spaceship and one day at Ocean Kingdom. It's about 100 US dollars. Well worth the price, in my opinion. Now, upon first entering the spaceship, we were immediately greeted by some of the park's walk-around characters, including some intergalactic soldiers brandishing weapons, which were a little intimidating to us, and most definitely intimidating to children. But they gave us a nice wave and kept on standing in a line, not moving like good stormtroopers do. A bizarre first impression, especially when you contrast it with the fact that the overall vibe of the front entrance plaza is very kid-friendly. I knew going in that Chimlong Spaceship was meant to be a family park and that some of the areas would definitely be geared more towards a younger audience, but I was surprised to see that the front entryway had things like temporary tattoo stations and characters that are meant to appeal to like toddlers. It actually had me a little worried that the entire park was going to be like that, which ended up not being the case. As you make your way down this main hallway, it really did feel like something you'd find aboard a spaceship, very Tron-like. And this leads you to the first ride in the park called Spaceship Story. And for the purpose of experiencing this park, I recommend you do this ride right when you walk in.
Okay.
As the name suggests, it's meant to help introduce you to the park and set up what you're about to experience. Chimlong Spaceship is unlike any other park I've ever experienced, and that is designed to be seen in a linear way. One area leads directly to the other, and it helps build upon what you've already seen. So this first ride sets up the universe where the ship came from. It has a very similar feel to Star Tours. You even have to pull on the yellow tab to check your seatbelt. The beginning has you leaving your docking bay in a smaller ship. You fly up and out of the larger spaceship. You see the whole park in front of you, fly over Ocean Kingdom, and then through a wormhole into outer space.
It's very similar to
you battle some bad guys and eventually return to Earth back in the same docking bay you saw earlier. And what happens next? As you step out of your ship, you're now immersed in that exact same space you just saw. Surrounding you in a semicircle are identical simulators out in the open meant to look like ships. And they surround an incredible set piece that is an actual ship with rotating engines, closing hatches and flaps, aliens in the cockpit, and a whole flight takeoff sequence with an overhead dome simulating outer space. Oh, and there's also a giant robot walk-around character that you can get photos with. It's insane. And
this
probably
is freaking
the only
cool,
time
man.
I've seen a motion simulator like this out in the open. It's an incredible reveal that you don't see until after you get off the ride. But that being said, if you don't want to do the ride, there is a way to go around it. But it really is an unbelievable first impression. The area that you're seeing here is called Cosmic World, and that will lead you into your first animal habitat zone known as Asia Galaxy. Because of noise and vibrations from the rides, the animal zones are largely kept separate from the ride areas. So for the next little bit, we're going to be seeing a lot more animals and get back to the rides later. This first area focuses largely on freshwater Asian animals like seals. And they're beautiful exhibits, really, really nice. But it was what was next to the animals that caught my attention.
Whoa.
Chimlong Spaceship is inundated with animatronics. Everywhere you look, there is something moving.
Oh, that's
Small,
cool, dude.
adorable woodland creatures in these habitats. They're smiling at you from across the pathway. You
That
can
reminds me of
get up
Splash
right
Mountain.
next to them, and it is incredible. At most theme parks, you have to do a ride or attraction to see an animatronic. Chimlong is one of the only places I've ever been to that is not like that. At their parks, they're just out in the open. Ocean
You're making
Kingdom is like
noodles.
that too. It's something that they didn't need to do, but it gives the park so much energy. Most of the animatronics have simple movement, but there's so many of them, it doesn't even matter. In some cases, they even paired an animatronic with a physical set and a screen background to enhance the space. That's the kind of integration that we've really only been seeing at places like Disney and Universal. It is easy to see where the budget in this park went to. Now, Asian Galaxy segues into the rainforest realm. Here we saw our first mammals. There were monkeys just hanging out above the pathway on some vines.
What?
These are animals that are not in cages.
What are
There
we
is
talking
absolutely
about?
nothing stopping them from just dropping down onto the floor, running into another room. But they don't do that because they've created such a nice space for them that they have no incentive to leave. And the same goes for these birds next door. These parrots were born in this habitat, they are raised here, and they see it as their home. And I really can't think of any other park that was like that. And that's what made exploring Chimlong Spaceship so fun. You have no idea what is around the next corner because you can't see the next room until you get there. In a way, it's sensory overload, but that's just China for you. They give it their all, 110%, and it kept us engaged in this park from start to finish.
This park seems sick as all hell, dude.
Canyon Galaxy, another darker, more atmospheric space with some beautiful night lighting. And if you're following along with this map, as you can see, we're still on the first floor of the park. We're hugging the right-hand side of the spaceship. From these areas, you can head over to the left-hand side, but for the sake of explaining this park, I'm just going to do a loop around, and then we'll head up to the second floor and do the same thing there. Canyon Galaxy then leads us to Star Stadium, and this is where things start to get a little quirky. We've now returned to the general space theme, and you're seeing more of the characters that inhabit the ship. Some of them are very out there, including these little green guys that remind me a lot of Minions. I don't know how to explain it, they just give the same energy. No rides here, but there is a show, and so of course we went to go check it out. And let me tell you, this is one of the coolest theme park shows I have ever seen in my life. Incredibly creative. It is human puppetry. Mind-blowing movement. These performers are so talented, forming animals in vehicles and creating scenes with nothing but their bodies. Like something you'd see on America's Got Talent. I can't believe no other theme park has ever done this before. And if anyone from an entertainment department at their local park is watching this, this is your chance to go find people to put this in your park. And it absolutely set the scene for the level of quality of the live entertainment we'd be seeing at Spaceship. Our next land is Fairyland of Coral, which brings us back into the marine life setting, once again introducing some beautiful kinetic movement. This time...
Yo, China, I'm coming so I can go to this park, alright? Just want to let you know, the rooster will be going to this park.
With sea animals literally swimming across the ceiling. This conveyor belt is continuously moving that when you pair that with all this beautiful rockwork and plant life all around you, it makes you feel like you're on the bottom of the ocean. And this is where we get the world's largest living coral reef exhibit. This huge reef spreads all the way around, and there are so many fish. Without a doubt, the best exhibit of this kind that I've ever seen. And if you're able to continue down the pathway, it just keeps going with now it feels like you're in a shipwreck, seeing this view from different angles. It's really cool. This zone is also home to another show, this one very kid-friendly, but trust me, it's worth seeing. These smiley Teletubby characters come out and we're like, okay, what's this about? And see all these little animatronic coral creatures in the background, and then suddenly a coral monster rises up out of the ground and starts talking to you, and he is huge. One of the biggest animatronics I have ever seen.
That's
Coral
crazy.
Monster is part animatronic, part puppet, and stands almost 30 feet tall. The point of the show is to teach everyone about coral reefs and how to keep it safe and doing things like recycling. And because it's mainly geared towards kids, they of course end with a musical dance number. We are not necessarily the target audience for the show, but we are just blown away by this animatronic. Incredibly well done. Now, Fairyland of Coral is in the back right of the park, and there's actually a pathway that if you were to step out into it, it would lead you into the Spaceship Food Plaza. This is still technically indoors as you're covered, but it's not air conditioned and it can lead to the outside. There is a small flat ride here, but the big draw is that there's just a bunch of different food locations. We actually got to eat in one of these places, had some nice
Oh, that
fried
looks
rice
good.
and chicken. It was good, but there is a catch with this zone, and that is that technically you can eat in this food plaza if you don't have a theme park ticket. It is available to hotel guests because you're technically
What?
like right below that big hotel in the back of the park. So it gets a little confusing where it's like, wait, are we in the park? Are we not in the park? There's like a certain way you have to go and then scan back in. A little confusing to a first time visitor. So just be aware. As we re-enter, now working our way down towards the front
So
on the left-hand side of the
to go eat there, you technically leave the park. That's actually a really good idea. That's like downtown Disney, but it's connected to the park. Like it's literally connected to the park. And then you have to come back in over here on in this area and scan your ticket again so you can come back in.
park. We next have Song of the Ocean. This area reminded me a lot of Bikini Bottom, like all of the fish having fun faces and different personalities. They gave them like cartoony homes where they have all different jobs, and that's where we have
very
our first
SpongeBob.
traditional dark ride of the park. This is called Deep Sea Adventure. It is a shooting dark ride with all practical sets. Lots to look at, very kinetic. The only
That's
time you see
super cool.
screens is to enhance the physical sets, and plenty to shoot at to rack up your score. It's a very busy ride visually. I wouldn't put it on a Disney or Universal level quality, but it is better than what I've seen at a lot of other regional theme parks. Song of the Ocean then leads you into Shark Adventure, which is another just pure animal exhibit. Really ominous lighting here, probably only makes the sharks look even scarier, but all part of the fun. This is one of the smaller theme zones and one that personally I spent some of the least amount of time in. Next up is an area called Dragon Sky, which is a little bit more mythical, kind of classic Chinese lore. The main attraction here is a slow omni mover that utilizes AR technology. In this scenario, you put on a set of glasses and then kind of swat at things out in front of you as it moves you through real space. So you still see all the same scenery, but now with little characters that you can get points or lose points by whacking. I personally just want to sit back and enjoy the views. It takes you out over this very Smithsonian museum-like space where you see all these different sea creatures, full recreations of whales, even different skeletons. And from my understanding, they're all to scale. This space was really cool to walk through, and you can see how a lot of this park is very educational, helping you learn and further appreciate what is out there. And it's moments like this when Chimlong Spaceship didn't feel like a theme park at all. At least, not a normal one, but then again, no one ever said this is a normal park, and one of the best examples of that can be found in the area next door, which is critical to understanding the story of the ship. If as you've been walking around this park, you're wondering why are we seeing animal exhibits on board a spaceship, this room will help you understand. It's called Journey with Cube. Here you can see some of the characters putting animal habitats in these cubes, shrinking them down to a small size, and storing them on board the ship. You follow yet? Let me clarify.
Welcome back.
The spaceship you are on is like the USS Enterprise. The aliens have landed here on Earth to study these animals. They're shrinking down the different environments into these cubes for transportation purposes to bring back to their home for education, but they accidentally expanded. And so we are seeing these full-scale environments on board the ship. So now you kind of have this Noah's Ark-like situation where you have all these animals on board.
Like the Ark.
They've opened up their ship for you to come see what they have. It's a very creative and out there story that not every guest will understand, but you can see how much thought was put into this. A story that doesn't just encompass one singular ride or land. It's much bigger than that. Detailed enough for you to appreciate it if you happen to pick up on it, but subtle enough that if you aren't paying much attention or don't really care, it won't hinder your experience. Now that brings us to one last area before we head up to the second floor, and that is Whale Wonders. One of the non-negotiables from Chimlong was that they wanted this park to be home to orcas. Prior to Spaceship, there's only one other park in China that you could see killer whales, that being Haicheng Ocean Park in Shanghai. And so for so many of the locals here, they'd never seen orcas before. So they saw it as a way for guests to get up close to these magnificent animals. Now, that being said, as a society, It felt like we had all collectively learned from the past and came to a big realization that keeping killer whales in tanks is not right. And there was like an unspoken global agreement that, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. SeaWorld stopped their breeding program. They obviously still have the orcas, but it's because they can't legally release them into the wild. So once they pass on, that's it. They won't have them anymore. And then we have China, which I'll say this, they are still a relatively young market when it comes to theme parks. In many ways, they're still learning and figuring things out, and it seems like they didn't get the memo on this, or they just didn't care. So, yes, there are orcas here. I do not agree with it. I personally wouldn't have done that. And I applaud places like SeaWorld Abu Dhabi for opening up being a marine park without orcas. In my opinion, you don't need them to have a successful aquarium or ocean theme park. Spaceship is magnificent without them, but they are here. They are here to stay. And I am glad to see that at least they gave them the largest aquarium on the planet. These are huge animals. They obviously deserve the ocean, but this is a bigger tank than any other in the world, including those at the SeaWorld parks that also have orcas. And to help simulate the open waters, Chimlong developed an artificial wave that is really powerful and very impressive, something you definitely don't find at the other SeaWorld parks.
That's actually really cool.
In my opinion, that's a really neat feature, one of those world records I talked about earlier. Chimlong Spaceship is home to 12 orcas, 5 of which are babies. All of those babies were born in captivity here in the park. There's underwater viewing where you can get right up to that massive pane of glass, as well as dine at a restaurant with a view of the orcas. We were highly encouraged to check this out, and the overall aesthetic of the restaurant and the dining experience really was fantastic, with a live piano player and beautiful views. The food was also quite good, though very expensive. China as a whole is a very affordable country to visit, but you can tell that this was really meant to be a premium experience, and you will pay for it as a result. And it's this tank that also will lead you up into the second floor, and that is where you could watch the orca show. So we'll start first with this performance and then work our way around to the attractions that are here up on the second level. 70% of the park is on level 1, so there's not as much to do up top. But that being said, there are way more rides up here. This show, however, is one of the largest draws of the park. It is the biggest stadium I have ever seen at a marine park.
That means this park is 3.9 million square feet. It's the largest park in the world. It costs you $45 to go. $45. It's a half aquarium, half theme park. No, it's true. They put the prices of the tickets earlier in the video when you were gone. It literally costs you $45 for one person to go. And they have a deal for if it's two adults, one child, it's $99 for all 3 of you. You don't got to pay to get on the rides. No, you can get on everything. The only thing you have to pay for there is food. Everything else is included. I'm telling you, we just looked at it a minute ago.
Means they can do things that we haven't really seen before in the theme park space, including people literally floating over your head on giant balloons.
And if you want to go to the water park too, that's attached to this place, it costs you $99 for the day. And you could go to both parks. Or you can go one day and then the next day. $99.
I was like, what the heck? And then I turned to my left and see bottlenose dolphins flying through the air on drones. The way they were moving was like they're swimming through the ocean. It was unbelievable. And that was just going on while people are getting to their seats. Once the show actually starts, before you even get to the whales, performers come out on jet skis in these motorized...
Ash and Will, sorry to interrupt right in the middle while he's talking. It costs $1.1 billion to make. It's the largest theme park space by square foot in the world. And it has 5 other Guinness World Records. The largest living coral reef aquarium. I mean, It's crazy.
Surfboards and start doing jumps. Then pelicans fly from one side to the other. It's just a lot going on all at once. Finally, the orcas and their trainers come out. We saw trainers from all over the world. They start to tell you about the whales and put on a very similar style show to what SeaWorld does. Certainly a performance, but also education focused. And after what we thought was the big finale, surprise, there was more. A full parade of characters walk out or sometimes ride through the stadium. It was the show that kept on giving. Lots of enthusiasm from all the performers. They were giving it their all. Definitely more grand than what SeaWorld puts on. Now,
That's
as
pretty
you're
cool.
exiting Orca Stadium, one thing that you'll probably notice with this area of Chimlong Spaceship is that it actually utilizes natural lighting. Everything that you've seen up until this point is in a controlled environment. You lose your sense of time. That's okay for a couple hours, but it can get stale after a while. So what they did is have the upper part of the park maybe not as immersive, but absolutely still a captivating vibe, even giving you the chance to look outside, see those mountain views. You can even look out at Chimlong Ocean Kingdom. It's so
Wow. So they were gonna die anyway. So to keep them alive, they hired him. They hired him. That's a lot different than SeaWorld, I would say. Hi, Mom.
cool how close they are to each other. If you were to walk around, that is where we enter our main theme parks zone. This is called Ocean Playground, and it's got a lot of classic flat rides. Many plug and play attractions from Zamperla, such as a disco, plenty spin based attractions. There's a suspended monorail, swinging
Okay.
ship. It felt very Nickelodeon Universe esque from Mall of America. I didn't do most of these rides because you can find them at parks from all over, but there are two very unique attractions in this zone that you can't miss. One of them is called Dive the Abyss Submarine Journey. It uses a ride system developed by Mock Rides that you can often find at the Legoland parks. You board an actual submarine, go underwater, and are looking out at all of the fish, like a
No
real
way.
fish. It's
So it's like the Finding Nemo ride at Disneyland, but it's a real aquarium as opposed to it just having statues and stuff, and then you're seeing like animatronics and stuff on a screen. That's wild.
super immersive, tons of beautiful decor in the tank, and even features a dark ride section of sorts with glow in the dark fish projections and a giant squid. The ride has no height requirement, it's the perfect attraction for all ages. The attraction next door, however, is a little different. This was, without a doubt, the highlight of Chimlong's Spaceship for
Oh,
me, and that is Bermuda Storm.
this is one of their world records. Is they have the largest motion theater in the world too.
This is the world's largest motion simulator. It's built by a company called Brogent from Taiwan, and it uses these padded lean rails for maximum throughput. You can fit
Will like Discovery Island in Florida, the SeaWorld Discovery Island where you could go uh walk around with sharks and shit.
300 people on this simulator at once. And so as a result, as a timed entry, so you can't just ride it whenever, you have to treat it like a show. You'll walk through this immersive queue. You're greeted with a pre-show, a Jamaican guy that's like, "Welcome aboard my boat. Come on, man." You see that enormous wraparound screen, Guinness World Record for that, and then you begin your journey through the Bermuda Triangle. Things hit the fan pretty fast. A tornado turns dark. You see this massive ghost ship appear. Fire erupts. It gets sucked in this giant wave. A kraken appears, breaks it apart, almost destroys you. And this whole time, the Jamaican man's monkey has been at the head of this boat, is an actual animatronic, like steering you around. The monkey interacts with what's going on screen, including getting electrocuted. And at times he just drops below, so then suddenly he's missing. And as a giant wave goes by, actual water splashes up on either side. This attraction utilizes all 5 senses and is a wild ride. To my knowledge, it's currently the only ride of its kind in the world, and I would
Need to correct his fact there about only having 5 senses. Apparently, from what I've heard from another video who had a scientist on there. There's 33 senses. I don't know what they are, but apparently that's the truth.
Love to see more of them in the future. If you can have a compelling story like this, the potential is unreal. The teams at Brogen, Chimlong, and Legacy Entertainment should be so proud of what they came up with here. It blew me away.
This is probably
And that
pretty
was all
freaking
that I
dope.
experienced at Chimlong Spaceship. But would you believe that I actually still miss some stuff? There's a whole nother zone of the park that I completely bypassed called Future City. It's towards the front of the park on the upper level. If anything, it proves that there's just so much to do here. There are also 2 shows that I completely bypassed. They have a mermaid show that has them swimming with manatees, and it's crazy. There's also an entire animatronic musical dining experience called the Watering Hole. 20 animatronic figures come out and introduce
Like the
guests
tiki
to
room, except you
African
get eat there.
music, cultures, and creatures, and it is so cool. These are things I will have to check out next time, along with the expansion they started on after my visit. As of when this video is being made, Chimlong Spaceship is currently constructing a flying theater. It's pressed up on the mountain side of the park, so most guests won't even be able to see it from the outside, but it'll likely have a seamless transition inside, so you won't even be able to tell that you've left the boundaries of the spaceship. I think this is going to be a fantastic addition. Some of the best...
Yo, vlog that shit, Will. Send me like a bunch of clips and we could put them together and we could do it as a reacts on here.
Flying theaters I've ever done are in China. They're always high quality, so I have no doubt that Chimlong will do a good job. Now, our YouTube channel is called Coaster Studios, and so there might be some people who are watching this going, wait a minute, there's no roller coaster here? What's up with that? And yeah, that is true. There is not a roller coaster here. There actually were original plans for there to be one. Chimlong had purchased a mock family spinning coaster and they tried to put it in this park, but due to vibrations, they just weren't able to figure it out. Hopefully one day they can make it work. Maybe put it up on the hillside around the flying theater area. That way it's away from all the animals. I think if I had to choose any roller coaster type for this park, I'd go with a launch coaster. That's the easy answer because there are none at this resort. Now look at what SeaWorld Abu Dhabi did with Manta, what Haichung Ocean Park
we love
did with
Manta.
Steel Dolphin, an Intamin multi-launch, man. That'd be pretty sick. But to conclude this review, after a full day at the park from open to close, I was super satisfied with my experience. We got lucky with light crowds. I know that won't be the case for everyone, but luckily, there's a lot to do here that doesn't require standing in a line. And I feel like a place like this will distribute its crowds pretty effectively. The place felt pretty quiet to us, and then we get over to the Orca Stadium, suddenly there's a ton of people here. It's like, oh, I didn't even realize there were this many people in the park. There's just that much to do. I think Chimlong Spaceship is a wildly impressive park. My mouth was hanging open for most of the day as I'm just walking from space to space. I loved all the innovation, the creativity, and all the different things that I'd never seen in a park before. And I think it'd be easy to say, well, don't you wish there were more like adult rides here? So many of the attractions are kid-focused. But frankly, as someone in my 20s, I had a great time exploring here and can confirm that the park is plenty satisfying as is and is complimentary to Chimlong Ocean Kingdom, which does have many more thrill rides for adults. I would not say, however, that is my favorite marine life theme park I've been to. I still have to give that to SeaWorld Abu Dhabi. That's still one of my favorite parks I've ever been to, so it's a tough one to top. But I can definitely agree that the bar has been set high with Chimlong Spaceship, and I think any developer interested in creating an indoor theme park should look here for an example of what you could do to create an immersive, story-driven space. So let me know down in the comments below if you've been to Chimlong Spaceship. What were your thoughts? Do you agree with the points that I brought up? If you're new to the channel, please go check out the Park Reviews playlist full of reviews from places all across the world in alphabetical order. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.
W video. I'm glad I did this for YouTube. That was super interesting. I didn't even know this park existed, and everybody knows in here, I'm a huge theme park guy. That's a bucket list item for me now. I have to go there. I have to go there at some point. Then vlog it for the channel. And tell you my thoughts about it. There'll probably be a lot of crying, because that place looks really beautiful. And shit like that hits me hard. Yeah, we should take a family trip out there, huh? All of us together and just fucking ride everything, do everything in the park. Man, we're gonna be so tired at the end of the night. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to be in the Twitch chat, the link is down below. If you want to support the channel, leave a like, subscribe, comment. If you don't do that, we just appreciate your viewership. If you do, make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when the videos drop. Again, this is a bucket list item for me. I love an aquarium. I love dark rides. I love a good show. I love a good motion simulator. This place is right up my alley, dude. Right up my alley. We'll catch you guys next time. Hope you have a nice rest of your day. See y'all.